All right, the next one I've got is Estate versus Caleb Andrew Kennedy. There he is. All right, tell me about it.
All right, there's two motions on this case. There's a motion for bond and a motion for medical records. I'm assuming you want to do the motion for bond first. That'd be the defense motion.
Okay. Tell me about it. Mr. Beasley.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell you about it, Judge. Sorry, usually the state goes first. Sorry. This is another case where the magistrate down at the jail deferred to the circuit court. Caleb is charged with felony DUI death. He is 17 years old. He's in the 11th grade. He is born and raised in Roebuck, South Carolina. He's got no record. By all accounts, from law enforcement I talked to and all other witnesses, no alcohol was involved. This happened around lunch, Your Honor. He was on his way to his girlfriend's house. He had recently been put on a prescription medication, which I can represent at the court. It was Prozac, and they had recently doubled his dosage, and he had some bad reaction, got lost on his way to his girlfriend's house, and randomly wrecked it down this dirt road in somebody's garage. And unfortunately, Mr. Paris was in the garage. And when law enforcement got there, Caleb, a 17-year-old, was holding Mr. Paris in his arms and crying. It's a very sad situation and accident. Caleb has no record. He's not a flight risk, not a danger to the community. There's no evidence besides what law enforcement and the state is claiming. Caleb said that he took a hit off a vape pen at some point, but we don't have any blood saying there was, or anything at the scene saying there was drugs or alcohol involved, only these alleged statements by Caleb. And yet, the law enforcement is also saying that Caleb was very disoriented and didn't know what he was doing or saying at the scene. So it's a very confusing situation. We're still trying to figure it out. Apparently he had met some individual to get some cigarettes. The guy had bought him some cigarettes at this a location of his Japan house. But there's no surveillance showing that Caleb was there. And in fact, the witness claims that he did not give Caleb any kind of vape pen. So, Your Honor, we think a reasonable bond of $20,000 with GPS house arrest is appropriate. Because, honestly, this is probably a reckless homicide case. It's not a felony DUI death. But that's all as far as bond, Your Honor.
Mr. Barnett.
Thank you, Your Honor. The main thing about this, and this is the victim, Mr. Paris, and I'm going to show you a picture of him here in a second, if that's okay with Your Honor. He is in his driveway at his house, and this man comes down the driveway 175 yards, and I'll show you that driveway also, Your Honor, and runs over top of him, and with no reason whatsoever. Can you imagine somebody, there's not a more dangerous situation. You're at your house, and he drives down this road. And if I can share this with you for a second, Your Honor. Let's see. All right, just showing you scenes from the scene here. Can you see the pictures, Your Honor? Give me a picture of a gravel road if you see it. The mailbox to the side.
Got any idea?
I don't see it, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see if I can bring it on here. Not showing on there. Okay, let me see. All right, can you see it now?
I can see it.
Okay. Your Honor, this is a dirt, and I could go show you the video. This is out in basically 2 houses down this road. He traveled all the way down this gravel road, which is basically a 1-lane road, Your Honor. You'll see the next one here. This is actually the turn where you go here and it turns. And if you go out in that area, Your Honor, there was nothing disturbed here, nothing where he fishtailed or anything like that. And Your Honor, can you see this is 175 yards from the road all the way to the, and you see the building I think I'm pointing at. That's the building where this ended. Mr. Paris, Larry Paris, was right there at that location there, Your Honor, from there. And he was on the phone with his best friend talking to him, and suddenly the phone goes dead when he gets hit. And the best friend actually calls his wife and says, you know, something just happened. I don't know. You need to check on him. And he was actually on this pad right here in this area when he got hit. And he literally, Mr. Kennedy drove, and it would have kept on going. There's a huge piece of machinery back here that weighs a lot that's used to cut metal. And he worked with boats, a lot of metal and things like that. You can see the speed and the damage there. The problem is it looks like he sped up once he got to the driveway because he couldn't have made that curve at a very fast speed from that standpoint. In this case, Your Honor, from that standpoint. And you see, I have one here. And Your Honor, Mr. Paris, this is a picture of him and his family from that standpoint. And he lived there. And then just briefly give the facts, it's happened on February 8th. Mr. Kennedy was driving a 2011 Ford F-150. You saw the truck there, Your Honor. Went all the way to the private driveway. And like I said, this is in a very rural area, Spartanburg County, near the Packlet area, towards that direction. It appears that he was at the Walmart and met with a friend there, got a hit from a vape pen, is what he told law enforcement, drove down the road at 295, apparently got lost, and went to this address at 270 West Murph Road, Your Honor. And like I said, it's 175 yards. Larry Paris is the owner of it. He's outside his utility building, Your Honor, got hit. When officers got there, Your Honor, he appeared to be very lethargic, disoriented. He basically told him that he'd been at Japan House, met with that friend there, thought he took a hit off marijuana, Your Honor. Felt like he was zoned out and everything from that standpoint. They definitely felt he was under the influence of thing. He had actually told a witness at the scene that he had basically fucked up, and he was fucked up from that standpoint, that he was tripping at the time. The problem we got, Your Honor, from this standpoint, this is the danger. If he's taking Prozac on top of that, I don't know what medication. That's one reason for the medical records from that standpoint, to find out what he told the hospital from that standpoint. But if you watch the videos and everything, I have Corporal Batson here also going to testify concerning medical records. He's definitely under the influence of something. I don't know if it's a combination of what he was on with what he took, but there's no question if you see these videos from that standpoint. And he admits it. He basically said he had out-body experience, and when this happened from that standpoint. So we feel like he's a danger to the community. Obviously, want to take court take consideration from that standpoint. I do have Donna Paris and Kelsey Paris here that would like to speak at the appropriate time, Your Honor. Corporal Batson's here is actually for the motion for medical records, Your Honor. I do have Kimberly Cockrell and Sarah Coe. Ms. Cockrell's from MAD and Sarah Coe's from Highway Patrol, but they're not going to speak, Your Honor. They're just present. I don't know if you had any more questions for me. He does not have any prior records, Your Honor.
All right. Be happy to hear from the victims.
Your Honor, I believe they're on here. Miss Paris, I think, is on here. It's not a Paris, Your Honor.
Solicitor, if you would, can you remove this unless you've got something else to show me?
No, sir. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I believe I just removed it, Your Honor.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's Donna Parrish, Your Honor, that'd like to speak to the court.
Okay,
And that's his daughter Kelsey with her, Your Honor.
all right, yes, ma'am.
My name is Chelsea Carvel, and I'm Larry's daughter. For 2 weeks now, I've laid down at night and closed my eyes, only to see and hear the same things over and over again. My daddy laying in his own shop, moaning, groaning, and hollering with a stranger that wasn't calling 911 or even calling for help, just sitting there with a blank look on his face. Thank goodness me and my mama were home. I see my daddy's hazel eyes and wrinkles on his face. I hear my screams begging for him to look at me and stay awake. I hear the firefighters cutting the door to get in there to him. I hear the surgeon telling us he's not going to survive. I see the bloody footprints coming from the room he was in at the hospital. I hear my mama begging and pleading with God to save him. I see my daddy laying there in a hospital bed, dead, with tubes coming out of his mouth. I see his 73-year-old father sitting beside him, holding his hand and sobbing. I see my mama kissing her husband of 35 years on the forehead for the very last time. So if I have to relive that every day for the rest of my life, please explain to me how he even has the opportunity to see the light of day ever again. And please explain to me how someone with a conscience could ever defend him. I'm 25 years old and have to live without my daddy for the rest of my life. This should not even be an option. Nothing has changed between February 8th and today, so why are we even here? Why am I having to vouch for my daddy? There's no question what he did. He killed my dad, point blank, period. And now there's a chance that he gets to go home to his family? That's absolutely infuriating. I sure do wish I could pay a little bit of money, or a lot of money for that matter, to have my daddy back, but I can't. That's not possible because of something he did. Not me, not my mom, not my husband, and surely not my dad. Him. He did this. He should have to sit there. We request that bond be denied.
And Your Honor, if I can just follow up with that from that standpoint, this man's the salt of the earth. And Mr. Beasley says it's a felony DUI case. This is not reckless homicide. And we obviously wait until get the blood results. But obviously, if he's on Prozac and taking
Okay.
maintenance and stuff, I know I'm not trying to, but I understand.
Okay, what blood results are you waiting for, Solicitor?
There was a search warrant that took his blood, Your Honor. SLED has those results, and I don't know how long it will take them. We'll have to do a drug panel, hopefully within a month or two, Your Honor.
And with respect to the medical records,
Your Honor,
are you,
Your Honor, I'd like to say something,
wait a
Judge.
minute.
Okay.
With respect to the medical records, which are you just trying to get the medical records from the treatment of the defendant on February 8th? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Beasley.
Your Honor, I just got notice of this motion for the medical records, it doesn't comply with the rules to get enough notice, and it's definitely wasn't set for today. So I'm not prepared to even discuss that, and we shouldn't be hearing it today.
Your Honor, he was given notice by the clerk's office.
Yeah, on Monday, Your Honor.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue this hearing until you get the blood results, and I'm going to grant the state's motion to get the medical records, and we'll find out whether or not there is any sort of, as you said, it's reckless homicide or DUI. So
Your Honor,
continuing the bond hearing and granting the motion to get the medical records.
Your Honor, I do have Corporal Batson, if you need him just to swear to the affidavit real quick, Your Honor, from that standpoint, for the medical records.
All right, if he won't, I'll put him on, let him swear.
He is on here, Your Honor. It's Brad Batson.
All right, if you would, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. I have an affidavit from you. Do you swear that content of this is all true and correct?
I do, sir.
All right. Any questions from anybody for the trooper?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
No to the state, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I would like to, can you maintain jurisdiction of this hearing
No,
'Cause-
I'm not going, this is a Spartanburg County case. I'm in Greenville. I don't think I'm scheduled to go back to Spartanburg.
in Your Honor, and SLED is so far behind, this could be months and months before we get back before a court. And there's much more egregious cases than this on a felony DUI that get bonds. We're talking about he just turned 17, Judge, and there's no evidence at the scene of any alcohol or anything else. No marijuana, nothing, just cigarettes. I just
Okay.
don't, your Judge, it's unfair to this kid to be sitting in jail for months on a backlog with SLED, and the fact that a magistrate down in the jail didn't do his job anyway and set a bond. I'm just sorry, Judge. I'm standing up saying a bond should be set today. It's ridiculous. Just because they don't have their act together should not penalize us. It's not my.
We don't have
Mr.
our act
Beasley.
together. Wait a second.
Whoa, wait, this hearing is over. I've made my ruling. So I suggest the attorneys be careful about how they respond.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.